Okay, now that I have my model done in a kind of low to mid poly form, I am going to want to do the UVs. Before I smooth this model or add any further divisions to it, I'd like to, I mean, the model itself is done. So before I smooth it, in order to really smooth out the model, and also, which will add a lot of divisions, that will make my job kind of doing UVs a little bit harder. So this is where the point where I want to do UVs. I had forgotten to save my scene file. So always remember to file, save your scene. I'm going to save this scene as, instead of Rhino model, it's going to be Rhino UV, just so that I have a kind of running list of everything that I've done in my scene up until this point. I'm also maybe going to delete my image planes. I'm no longer going to be using them. And then maybe I want to rename this Rhino Geo. One thing that I've already done in order to be able to set up UVs is I've started to create these quick select sets. And if I go to with my model here, actually, I think I want to be in face mode for this. So what I've done is I've selected some faces here, and I go to select quick select sets. I have my left side, ah, or let's see if it'll let me just select it here. They're here in the outliner, but I'll have to go to select, quick select set right side. So I have my right side or my left side now. Kind of the faces, what I'm trying to do is uh, create selections that will highlight those particular faces that so I make sure that I'm making UVs for all the faces on my model and that I'm also doing it in a way that makes sense to me. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to continue to kind of select faces that I want to have as select sets, which then I will use to build out my UVs. So I'm going to select all the bottom faces of the feet, and I'm going to create a quick select set of all of those. Create set, quick select set, and I'm going to name this feet bottom. And now I have that here as just an object in my outliner. In the outliner, like if I accidentally, which happened, accidentally make a mistake in my selection, um, the way to then make sure that our quick select sets just have the selections that we want, we can just delete that item from the outliner here if we need to. I'm going to want to go and maybe create the ears. Maybe I'll kind of do the front of the ear and the back of the ear, front, back, and side, perhaps as two different selections. And I'm really trying to think about how I want these UVs to flatten for the texture. So in case we don't know what UVs are, I'll show you in a minute, and I'll describe it in a minute. But right now I'm just kind of creating these selection sets. So I'm just going to keep doing this for a while. And symmetry is turned off for this process because I'm trying to I want these eyes maybe to be separate, so. We still need to do the feet. And when I average those vertices, or yeah, I think I have my vertices here. I still kind of want them to be more flat, so I'm gonna go in. Maybe now work with symmetry on. I must have some other selection. Yeah, I do. Let me make sure I'm just selecting the feet. And I'm just going to average these out. Now my selection sets should still be, let's say, left, right side here. Yeah. So even though I've messed with some of the vertices, I still have that selection is still correct. I still want to do the front here. So with this in mind, just to see where I've already selected, I'm going to go to face and make sure I'm in selection mode. I'll leave the kind of feet as their own thing. Let me look back here and let's look at the left side. Okay, so now I know where I want to select these faces. And another tool I can use is this paintbrush tool. In my tool settings, I can say to either select or unselect. So this will help me kind of paint my selection. And I think I want the tail to be a separate thing, so I'll use my selection tool. And if I drag a marquee around, it'll unselect that. So I'm going to say create sets, quick select set, and of the back. Create one. I'm just breaking down this model into the faces, the groups of faces that I want to keep together. Let me go back to my sets here and just see for the side again. Do left side, right? Okay, so this is the group of edges that I have not yet selected, and I'm going to make this my inside. And as far as front, I believe I have the front going to here, so I'm going to select all of these faces. I'm going to double check this in a bit. Let me go to my paintbrush selection tool, which makes it a little bit easier. I think I can safely say that's the inside. Oh, I must keep the feet separate. This looks like the inside faces. Underneath maybe. Let's make sure about the front. So with this selected, I'm going to then say select quick select set front. Yeah, and make sure that that is the edge at which along those faces change. And I think the last thing I need to do is, and if I remember, I can, let me work off symmetry for a moment. Right? If I select this edge and then this edge, or this face and then this face next to it, double click, I'm selecting that edge loop of faces. That's why working in edge loops is so critical. So I'm going to call this, and of course, I really should be working with this as the left side of the model and this as the right, as if I'm looking at, as if I am this creature, but I started this kind of the wrong way. So just for these quick select sets, I'll do it where like the face, as I'm facing the model, this will be the right side and this will be the left side. But as I do other things like later on creating the rig, I'm going to change that. Let's go to change that logic so that it actually matches when as if I'm embodied in the character. So let's say this is the right front foot. Okay, and I think with that, I have all of my component parts have been um, have been created here as selection sets. So now let's talk about UVs in the next video.